Hey folks, so I got this air compressor yesterday. It's the 1 gallon Fortress Ultra Quiet from Harbor Freight. I'm only going to be using it for light woodworking duties, mostly for a brad nailer and just to blow sawdust off surfaces. So I didn't think I'd need a larger capacity, but um, yeah, there's a good chance I might exchange it, but for now I'm going to try this out. This is my first air compressor, and I'm totally new to this, so when I got this, I didn't really know exactly what accessories I needed or, where to even start or how to actually start using this. So now that I kind of know what to do, I thought I'd put this video together just to help out some of you folks that's totally new to this as well. So before you actually start using this, they recommend that you break it in for about 30 minutes. All right, so to break it in, the first thing you need to do is make sure it's off, it's unplugged. Make sure the lever here is in the off position. And the next thing is you'll need to open the drain valve, so this down here. Make sure that it's pointing in the same direction as the pipe. Once all the pressure is out, you can plug it in. And then with the drain valve open, turn on the air compressor. So switch it to the auto mode, and then just leave it like that for 30 minutes. I just wanted to quickly go over all the controls here. You have the on and off switch lever here on the left. The first gauge indicates the pressure in the tank. The second gauge here indicates the pressure that's coming out of this valve. This knob controls the amount of pressure that's coming through this valve. So you'll see when you turn this positive or negative, you'll see the gauge here adjust as well. And down here you have the drain valve. So you always need to make sure once you're done using it that you drain it, because from all the pressure sometimes there's liquid's going to be in there. So that this will just prevent or we'll let that liquid out to prevent rusting, and also just to let all the pressure out. It's really important that you release the pressure once you're done using it, just because if your work area gets too hot, say you're working in a garage, if it gets too hot, this tank can burst. Just to be safe, it's best that you do this once you're done using it. And in the back here you have the safety valve. So that's just used for if there are times where you need to quickly release air pressure, just pull on the ring here. So before you can actually start using the air compressor, there are 3 things that you really need before you can actually start using it with the basic tools like a blowgun, for example. Those things are a hose and a couple fittings. So the hose, I ended up going with a 1/4-inch polyurethane. After a lot of research, I found that, or at least they recommend that a polyurethane is probably the best one. Just make sure that it can handle a certain PSI for whatever your need is. For my brad nailer, I only need about 90 PSI, I believe. And this hose can handle up to, let's see, 120 max. So, see if I can focus here. Yeah, here we go, 120 max PSI. The other fittings you'll need is a 1/4-inch NPT female industrial coupler. So this will enable you to just quickly attach any tool that you're using. The other fitting is the 1/4" female plug. This is the part that's going to go into in here, into your compressor. I also ended up buying a couple more things. The blowgun, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to be using a lot, and this other accessory here just for pumping up car tires. I also added this, got this fitting that I'm going to be using with this, so I can quickly connect it into the hose. To connect the fittings to the hose, there's a couple things that you'll need. You'll need a plumber's tape. So this is just a really thin tape. You could probably buy it anywhere, any hardware store. And you'll need a wrench just to tighten it up. Alright, let's try this out. Don't know how neat you have to be, but let's see. 1, 2, 3. Hopefully that's not too much. Let's give this a shot. I'm going to attach the coupler on this end. I'll probably have to tighten it later once I turn this on. We'll find out. And just do the same thing on the other end. So once you're set to go, you could just turn on the air compressor. So from looking at the manual, it's supposed to keep going and stop at around 135 psi. So let's see if that's right. And once you start using it, it's supposed to stop, or it's supposed to turn on again once it hits 90 psi. Alright, so first thing we're going to do, we're going to plug our hose in. You'll notice that the outlet valve here, when you try to plug it in, it's a little bit different than the quick release here. For the quick release, you can just open this up and then insert the connector. Here, it works a little bit differently. So it looks like the opening here is a little bit smaller, right? What you actually need to do is just press this in. You don't need to pull this and insert this. You could just press this in, add a little pressure, and it'll connect. Well, I think now that the air is full, it's a little bit tougher. But once you press it hard enough, it'll go in there. So the nice thing about this quick release is that you can quickly insert different tools that you're going to be using. For example, air gun. Just be careful when you release it. If it's full of pressure, it's going to push it out a little bit. So, for my need, right now I'm going to be using this blowgun. So I'll just do that, and then that's it. You can feel around where you connected the fittings to see if there's air leaking. What will happen is you'll see this gauge, the pressure gauge, actually go down. So if that's the case, then you probably didn't tighten it enough. Another good method is to put soap around the connections here, and that's supposed to once you see it bubble up, it's just a good way, faster way to tell if there's air leaking. So right now it's set to 90 psi, which is good. There's about 110 here, and let's try it out. So the moment it hit 90, it went on again. At full pressure, let's see how many seconds I can use the blowgun before it comes on again. That was about a second. But there's still more than enough pressure to keep going. Alright, hopefully that was helpful for some of you. Let me know if you have any comments, questions, and I'll be happy to answer them.